Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, I've got another drone for you today, and I'm pretty excited about this one. I've got the Hubsan Zino Mini SE. Now, this drone, I think, could very well be the sweet spot for Hubsan Mini drones. I'm not going to kid you, the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro has been a little bit of a disappointment to me. Not all the functions have been, I think, where they should be for that drone, but I think this guy is going to answer a lot of those same questions, or I should say it probably is going to appeal to a lot of the reasons why people bought that Zino Mini Pro, yet in a package that may not have obstacle avoidance and may not have as big of a sensor, but it has all those other features that people are looking for in a mini drone, not the least of which is price. This is very competitively priced as well, so at like $349. So let's get this guy out of the box and take a look at it, and we can talk a little bit about the features. So I'm not sure if I said it in that initial introduction, but Hubsan did send me this drone for review. So, but they sent me a pretty good package here. They sent me the 2-battery package with the carrying case. So, yeah, I mean, that's, other than that, the box is about the same as what we're used to with other Hubsan boxes. Zino Mini SE right there. So let me get this guy open and we'll take a look. Okay, let's pull the top up here, and we should see, the plastic bag with the drone inside. Hubsan has done a really good job with their carry bags, and I always appreciate that because it helps you keep things organized. You've got a double pull zipper here, and there we go. There's the drone, and it's really essentially packaged just like the Zino Mini Pro was, but again, different color drones. So it is white instead of gray plastic that the Zino Mini Pro is. Again, 249 gram drone. The battery loads from the back just like the Zino Mini Pro. What you don't have is that big plastic cover that they put on the top of the Mini Pro, because I'm assuming this thing doesn't get as hot. But I will say this, the Zino Mini Pro, since I've been using it, they've improved the software, and I have to tell you, it doesn't get as hot as it did initially. I've had no problems with overheating on it at all, since my first initial couple of flights. Now, some things to point out here. You got the downward facing LED light. You've got an optical flow sensor right there, and I assume these two are time of flight sensors. And then on the back, these look like they might be sensors, but they're not. There's some holes in them. I'm sure they're just there for ventilation, so it doesn't have any rearward facing obstacle avoidance nor anything on the front here. Let's unfold it and see how it looks. Yeah, there's the little drone. I always like the looks of the Zino Minis. And oh, by the way, look at that. We actually have an SD card slot in this drone that you do not have in the Zino Mini Pro. So it does record your video on an SD card. And let's pull the gimbal cover off here and take a look at that little camera. Drop that cover. And there is a little piece of plastic on that lens, so we'll take that off before we fly. But honestly, if you're looking at the camera, it's pretty difficult to tell it apart from the Zino Mini Pro, but it does have a smaller sensor. This camera, let's talk about the camera for a second. It's equipped with a 1/2.6 sensor. It'll still shoot in 4K, 30 frames per second. And it also can shoot in 2.7K and 1080, and in those two resolutions it can shoot up to 60 frames per second. So if you want that 60 frames per second for smoothness, you'll probably want to go into 2.7K or 1080. But I typically shoot in 4K 30, and then it shoots 4K photos, and they do say there's an HDR feature too. And the bit rate on this, I'm willing to bet it's adjustable, just like the bit rate is on the Pro version. You can adjust it between 64 and 100. So we'll probably shoot at that 100 bit rate. I'll put a SanDisk Extreme card in there that should be able to write at those speeds. So what else does this guy bring to the table? Well, obviously that 249 grams is huge. In the United States, that means that you don't even have to put a sticker on it. You can fly this drone without even registering it. It's not such a big deal in the U.S. to me. I mean, all that does is say you don't have to put a sticker on it. You know, as a Part 107 flyer, I'm going to put a tail number on it anyway. So, like I said, that doesn't make much difference to me. But now, if you live in Canada, Europe, or the UK, that 249 gram weight class is a big deal and changes a lot of the regulations that allows you to fly where you couldn't otherwise. And it does. They are saying. Pretty darn cool. They're saying a 45-minute flight time with this guy, which is just astonishing. That is plenty of time in the air. That rivals drones like the Mavic 3, quite frankly. And I can tell you from flying that Mavic 3, when you're up there that long, that's as long as you're wanting to fly. You're ready to bring it back down and land. And they're also saying a 6-kilometer range. Now, I'll be honest with you, with a mini drone, I'm never going to fly it that far, but hopefully you do get a good solid connection up to, you know, 1 or 2 kilometers. You know, what you're looking for more than anything else is a good solid FPV feed and good solid range without any dropouts. The other thing that this drone brings to the table is that it has all of the intelligent flight features that Hubsan, quite frankly, is pretty good at. Their tracking, to me, since the original Hubsan Zino, they give you optical tracking as well as GPS tracking. I prefer the optical tracking because it keeps you in center of frame. They've always done a great job at that, and I don't expect this thing to be any different, as well as all of their other intelligent flight modes, you know, the automated drone rocket and point of interest orbit mode, those sorts of things. And the cool thing that Hubsan does with their orbit mode is you can either via GPS set your controller as the point of interest. So in other words, if you want it to orbit wherever you're at, it'll just orbit that controller, or you can optically set a point of interest out someplace, and it'll do a really good orbit. And like I said, they have line fly, waypoints, all of those features that people look for in these drones. Now, I am going to warn you, all those automated features are fun. I like to use them. I use them a lot, but you do not have any kind of obstacle avoidance on this drone. So when you're using those features, make sure you're in the clear and you're not going to send the drone into the side of a building or a tree or something like that. But anyway, that's the look at the drone and a little talk about the features. Let's see what else is in the bag here. And I pretty much know what to expect here. We've got a couple of batteries in here with the charge hub. Well, there's a battery in the drone and then a spare battery here. And then in here you've got the charge brick. And you know, owner's manuals down in here, and I'm sure the cables are down below. I'm not going to dig all those out. And then, but the Hubsan controller, which is a pretty good piece. Let's see if we can get that guy out of here. So there it is. This is the same controller as on the Zino Mini Pro. Well, in fact, it looks very similar to on the Zino 2, etc. They give you a nice LED screen that has all of the telemetry that you're looking for, and then this button is the speed button. So film, normal, and sport mode, on off, of course, and that's return to home. And under here you can see you've got the two sticks, the gimbal sticks that go on top here. And on this button you got a function button there. You have a record button, take a picture button, and then this guy moves the camera up and down. So You know, pretty standard stuff, but I've always found this to be a very comfortable remote and easy to use. Okay, so the Hubsan Zino Mini SE, nothing left to do but to get this guy out and give it a flight. I am going to probably take off right now because tomorrow it's supposed to be raining. I'm not going to have time to charge the batteries that they sent me with this, but I just happen to have a fully charged battery from my Zino Mini Pro. Now it's going to be gray on the back, but it's the identical battery, so that'll give us a chance to get this guy out this afternoon, and we're just going to take it for a quick flight and check out the video quality, etc. We won't get into any of the intelligent flight modes or any of that. We're just going to take it for a flight and see how it looks and see how it flies. See you out in the field. Hey, okay, it is a chilly day in Idaho today. Let me tell you, it's about 46 degrees. We got a little bit of a breeze. I think it said 7 miles an hour with 15-mile-an-hour gusts. I don't feel any gusts that big, but there's definitely a little bit of a breeze. So, yeah, I've got the Hubsan Zino Mini SE, and I did have, you'll see a gray battery back here because that's one that I had fully charged from the Zino Mini Pro, so we could get out here and fly today. And I noticed the remote was already fully charged, so we're good to go there. And this battery is identical to the one that comes with the Zino Mini SE, so that works just fine. Let's quit messing around. Let's get this bird in the air. Okay, so it's asking for a firmware update. I should have thought of that. I should have fired it up at the house. Gosh, okay. So I'm going to shut down video here for a second while we do that. Hey, okay, the upgrade is done and the drone is asking for a compass calibration, so we'll do that real quick. Couple points to make here. The firmware update is done completely through the app on the Mini SE as opposed to the Zino Mini Pro, where you have to connect a OTG cable directly to the drone to do the updates. This guy does it right through the app, which is very convenient and very easy. So another positive for this drone. Also, Hubsan has really improved the compass calibration process. You saw it just took me just a second to get that done, much like a DJI drone. So good work on that. The other thing is, if you look, well, you can see it on the screen recording, we have FPV as opposed to the Zino Mini Pro where the drone had to take off first, so another big improvement. Again, I see this as a sweet spot in the Hubsan Mini drones. So let's switch to video mode here, and let's go into the menu, and we're going to click on this. It's already on 4K 30, which is a good thing, and then let's see, I'm seeing a zoom button there. Well, yeah, okay, so you have to pre-select zoom. So that's what I did. Zoom 4K 30, but you can only do it at 25 frames per second. So we'll do that. We'll shoot in 25 FPS so that we can try out that zoom. And then let's go back to the three dots at the bottom, and I'm going to leave white balance on automatic. Grid lines are already on. Yeah, so it does not have, like I noticed on the Zino Mini Pro, you can select different styles of video. I don't see that on this drone, so which is okay. So we're just going to leave it just like it is on auto, and we're going to go from there. Let's look very quickly at the photo menu just for the fun of it, to see what there is to say there. And yeah, it's got an EV adjustment there, and then you have yeah, single shot. Oh, it's even got a panorama mode there. Now I will say, Hubsan panoramas, you have to stitch them yourself. It is not done in the app or anything. And then, yeah, same menu as you have in video there. So let's get out of that. Let's go back to video, and let me check those settings again. I also wondered if there was a setting for, yeah, and it held our zoom setting, so we're good to go there. I was wondering if there was a setting for the bit rate, but evidently there isn't, because it said in the specs 64 to 100 bit rate. So I thought maybe like the Zino Mini Pro, there might be a setting there that you change, but I don't see that. So anyway, enough of that. Let's check our safety menu, and yeah, just tells us we're connected, tells us our calibrations are all normal. So gosh, we should be good to go here. Let's get out of all that. I can tell you, looks pretty good. Again, it is a cloudy day. Started recording now. 15 satellites. Even with the firmware update, it's showing 100% battery. So let's go ahead and take off. I'm going to go ahead and do an auto takeoff on the app. And here we go. Yeah, so it's giving us a little message on how to set an alternate return to home point. But boy, look at that. That is amazing. That looks really good. Let's turn it around here and bring it in. And we're in normal mode. Yeah, let's bring it over. You know, Hubsan has so improved their flight controls. Bring it into the camera here. Try and center it up on the camera and bring it in a little bit. Pretty quiet. That's the one thing I'm going to say. It seems to be a nice quiet drone. You can see that gimbal in action there. I don't know if it's the same motors as the Zino Mini Pro or not. It almost sounds a little quieter to me. That could just be my imagination. Let me see if I can get it good and close here. So there's a good look at the drone. We'll kind of yacht back and forth here a little bit. Okay, so what are we going to do right now? Everybody kind of knows what we need to do. I'm going to drop that gimbal down just a tad so we can do it. And I can tell you the FPV screen looks real good. We are going to do our manual droney. So reversing up now, reverse and up. And beauty, man. Looking good. And I'm getting a little breakup on FPV there. I'm coming to a stop. I had a little choppiness on my FPV screen there. But not terrible, but enough to report it, right? And one of the things I'm going to tell you about this area, this park, we know this is a challenging Wi-Fi environment here. Yeah, and I'm definitely seeing some choppiness on my FPV feed, which is not ideal for sure. Let's pick that camera up, get the rule of thirds. We're going to go out to the corner of the park here and fly around a little bit. So there you go. You can tell it is a gray, cold fall day in Idaho today, and it was important to fly today because we're supposed to have a storm tomorrow. So that's why I was in kind of a hurry to get out here, and I used one of the batteries from my Zino Mini Pro to get this flight in. And I'm just doing a quick yaw around here so that you guys can see how it looks in a yaw. And then we'll move on to the other corner of the park here. I was kind of listening there. I thought I heard an aircraft, but it's not. It's the contractors over in the corner. They got one of those tamper machines that sounds remarkably like an aircraft. And that's me adjusting the yaw a little bit there. I just want to go right out to the corner of the park here. And we'll turn it around, and whatever issues I had with FPV seem to have cleared up. It's looking really good now. So there is a look that you get on a lot of my drone reviews, and I do that so that you guys can kind of compare video quality, etc. So this might be a good time to try out the zoom. So let's see. I think I can hold the function button down on this guy and use the camera wheel to scroll through the zoom. So let's try that. No, that's, oh yeah, there we go. So that's working. And so I'm seeing a nice digital zoom on FPV. Now the question is, will we be able to see that in a 3x zoom? Will we be able to see that on the video itself? Because as you know, the Zino Mini Pro, it does not work. So that's me moving the camera over to kind of center it on there, and you can see, you know, it is a digital crop, so it's not going to be completely clear, but you can see what's going on there. So I'm going to say that is perfectly acceptable. Let's again, I'm holding that function button down, and I'm trying to do a nice scroll back to full view here. That's a cool way to do it. You know, you can also do it on the screen, but it's handy to be able to do it with the scroll wheel. And boy, I'm going to tell you guys, it is frickin' cold. My fingers are freezing. Yeah, and there again, a little bit of choppiness on that FPV feed right here. And I'm faced directly towards the drone, so there's no, you know, no reason that it shouldn't be really good. So I'm going to move forward here. Let's move towards the flag here, the flagpole here, and we'll see if we can do an orbit. And again, I'm in normal mode. Let's drop some altitude. Bring that baby forward. And there's the flagpole. So I'm going to drop the gimbal down just a tad, and we are again. We're in normal mode. Maybe I should try it in film mode. So I moved it to film mode. So let's see if we can do a nice yaw here, or a nice orbit, manual orbit. We've got plenty of batteries, so I'm not worried about that. Yeah, that film mode, it definitely gives you a leg up on being able to do these kind of shots. And I'm almost yawing just a little bit too much there. Trying to keep that flag right in the center of the frame. And boy, I'm really anxious to see how this video quality looks on this guy. I've got really high hopes, because if we can get some reasonable 4K video out of this guy, it's gonna give drones like the DJI Mini SE and even the Mini 2 kind of a run for their money. So yeah, I mean, this, you know, I'm telling you, control wise, I'm having an easy time doing this orbit. Okay, so let's stop right there. I'm going to pick the camera back up, and we are going to put this guy in sport mode. And let's aim for the other corner of the park here. And let's see how fast we can get this guy up to. I think they're saying top speed of 16 meters per second, which would be, you know, roughly 34, 35 miles an hour. So I am full stick forward right now. And you know, nice flat horizon. Man, looks good. I'm telling you. And boy, that drone is screaming above me right now. We're not going to quite get to that. We're at 14 meters per second there. We were for a little bit, which is still pretty fast. That's about 30 miles an hour or so, or a little bit more than. So let's stop right there. And I'm going to pick the gimbal up just a little bit. And I think now is probably a good time to take some pictures. So I'm going to stop recording. I'm going to switch it into photo mode. And let's take a picture here. So there's a picture, and I always do this in the same spot so you guys can compare it with previous videos. And I am going to go out to the other end, and we're not going to be recording, so you're just going to get the screen recording for this part of it. And let's go out and take a picture out towards the Costco as well. And boom, let me move over just a little bit. And we'll rotate around, and I'm going to drop that gimbal just a tad, and let's take a picture. There's a picture. You know what? Let's see if we can zoom take pictures in zoom mode. So yeah, you can. Look at that. I'm pulling it back into 3 times zoom. And, well, 2.9 it says. And let me move it over just a little bit so we're closer on the Costco. And there's a picture right there. So we'll see how that looks. Let me swipe it back up. And I with that, instead of using the thumb wheel, I did that on the screen. Okay, so I am going to go switch back into video mode here. And I'm going to put us in 30 frames per second here. We're going to switch out of that zoom mode, and I'm going to go into video mode and 30 frames per second. Okay, and we're going to start video again, and we'll see how my video editor copes with 2 different styles of video here. And we're still in sport mode. I'm going to leave it in sport mode. Let's go across the street and go out into the towards the mega Walmart out there, and we can see how this guy does with and I saw a tiny little jiggle with the, as I was moving the drone sideways, I saw a little bit of a jiggle on the video. So yeah, let's just go full speed here, and let's just get right across the street. And I am standing out where I've got a good clear shot with the controller pointed right at the drone. And in fact, let's gain some altitude. Let's give this guy every chance. And so we're about 56, 55 meters high, something like that. Man, doing well. So I don't know if you guys remember the last time I was out here with the Zino Mini Pro, and that's me yawing around there. So never fear, I'm kind of doing a little maneuvering to get over the top of this other field. But, you know, I lost, I don't think I was out this far with the Zino Mini Pro, and I lost full connection. So this is really good. That's what I'm going to say about that. Nice cloudy day. So, you know, we're out there 800 meters, 850 meters. I'm going to go right to the edge. We're not going to cross that road, but I'm going to go right to the edge. See if we can get, yeah, and there I caught a little blockiness there as I got close to that edge, but it's not bad. So there is, you know, almost a kilometer, 970 meters. So that's pretty darn good. So let's, yeah, so I'm yawing around here, so kind of giving you a look at the countryside before we make our way back. And, you know, interestingly enough, I've got a really good video feed right now. And we're, you know, we're out there a ways, as opposed to, I had a little bit of choppiness here when I was right here close to me in the park, which is kind of interesting. Tells me that there was probably some Wi-Fi interference. So we still have 62% battery. So what we can do here is, you guys have seen me fly this pattern before. We can go out here over the top of Keith Bird Park. And we're going to go right over the top of this, down this street here. No cars to worry about there. And over that path and right over the top of Keith Bird Park. And we'll just do a big circle getting back to us. Man, guys, I am very pleased. And they're not kidding about battery life, because we still have 59% battery. Man. I'll tell you what, this thing's moving along pretty good too. We were up about 15 meters per second there. I think we're pretty close to it. So let's cross into this field here, and we can kind of take a look at the other side of the Walmart. Now, what we're not going to do is go over the top of that that parking lot there. We don't want to do that, but we're going to we'll get over this field, and we'll kind of skirt around to the side of it. And we have room here now. going to drop the camera down just a little. We got room here now that I can still get around the back of it. You see that construction, and of course eventually I won't even be able to do that because there'll probably be stuff built up there. But man, I'm telling you, the connection on this guy is just awesome. This is working great, guys. Yeah, and I saw a little bit of movement in the gimbal there again, just a tiny bit, you know. So I don't know what that's about, but pretty good. And so we're over the top. There's a little between that other road. We're kind of over the top of that field that's next to it here, in front of the big old Costco. And then I'm over there in Heroes Park over there. So let's go back the other way, and we'll kind of skirt around then behind Costco here and stay over that field and bring it on back to us. Gosh, I'm just telling you, whatever complaints about FPV I had earlier have definitely gone away, because it's solid right now. It looks really good. I've got a really nice clear picture on my iPhone. So let's kind of get over. We'll kind of get in between where they're working on the construction and the road here. Make our way back, and then we'll cross over into the church parking lot there, where we can then cross over into right back over Heroes Park here. So let's get over the church. And then let's just go straight across here. And that, believe it or not, that's another little church right down there. And here we are, back at Heroes Park. And still 49% battery. So, holy cow. They weren't kidding when they were talking about flight time. Gee whiz. Man, I'm impressed with this little drone from what I'm seeing so far. I mean, we haven't looked at the video off of the SD card yet, and that will really tell the truth. But I'm telling you, this guy, what I'm seeing so far is a winner, and I had a feeling that it would be. Whoops, that was me on the sticks there. I was trying to pick the camera up and drop altitude at the same time, and I pulled the stick over. So sorry about that. So let's drop some altitude and bring it back to us here. In fact, I'm going to go back into, so we go a little bit slower, I'm going to go back into film mode. And well, let's do normal mode. That's too darn slow. And bringing this guy right back to where we're standing here. Drop some altitude. In fact, let's just do a little bit of a overflight here, so you can hear the drone. I'm going to grab some altitude, make sure I clear all those trees, but straight over. I'm telling you, this is a fun little responsive drone, man. I'm telling you, this thing is a ball to fly. You know, when you get good flight controls, it just makes so much difference in how much fun it is to fly the drone. I'm just telling you. And this guy, and I'm yawing now around on purpose because I want to see how that video looks. Man, oh man, this thing is just a ball. So let's bring it back around to us here. And again, we're still at 42% battery, so shoot, we might as well try some stuff with it. Okay, let me bring it on in. Let's take a look and see what's on the menu here. Okay, I'm going to leave it right there. I've got it just hovering, and let's click on that little X in the top left. Hyperlapse, waypoint, orbit mode. You know, there's a lot of things we could do here. Let's see what's in creative video. Yeah, you got to stop recording to get into that. Yeah, and it's telling us 40% battery. You know what? I wonder if we can do a quick waypoint mission. What do you think? Waypoint planning. Let's just send this guy on a little waypoint mission. So we are going to draw, and I'm going to do dots. So I'm clicking on that. So I'm going to click a dot, and we got a good depiction of the park here, as you can see. I'm just going to send it in a big square, and then back towards number 1, and then I'm going to put 6 back right in front of us, and we're going to submit, and then we're going to click done and click OK, and let's let this guy go. And it's not wasting any time. It's heading to its first waypoint. And let me switch back to camera mode here, if I can remember how to do that. So that, yeah, there we go. There we go. There's camera mode, and then we can still see the waypoints at the bottom there. And there, the drone is turning and heading to its next waypoint. Down to 37% battery, so we'll see how far we get through this battery if we can complete this waypoint mission. But that's just how easy it is. You saw me just do that in just a second there, and Hubsan is just so good at those kind of things. All of their intelligent flight modes have always worked really well. So we are on our way to, I think, number 3 now. I notice it's not following on the little map, so let's bring the map up so we can see it. Yeah, there it's at number 3, and now it's turning to go to 4. Oh yeah, we're going to have plenty of battery. We're at 34%. We're going to do just fine. I'm trying not to be too effusive right now, but this is really fun. I'm impressed with this little drone. You know, you take the thing out of the box, first flight, and it does what you expect it to do. That's always impressive to me. That's what I expect. So, heading to waypoint number 5. And we just kind of did a big square there, and then when it gets to 5, it'll turn around and should come back right in front of us here. So I'm going to switch back to video mode. And it's on its way back to us. Almost there. Or number 6. And I'm looking at the little drone in the air, and it's at number 6, and it says, okay, I'm done. Well, it was cool. I watched it come to a stop there, so it's all done. Okay, so here's what we're going to do now. We're done with that waypoint. Let's, the battery's at 30%. I like how it tells us here. Let's see if I can switch this back into that, just touching that little top right-hand corner of the map there, put it back into the attitude screen, or I call it radar, but it's an attitude screen. So we're going to back it up, and then we're going to do a return to home, and let's see if we can get a precision landing. I'm going to hit return to home on the controller, and it took that command immediately. And I don't even remember, gosh, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, so evidently 40 meters is what I had that RTH set at. Yeah, so yeah, let's just drop the camera down here so we get a look. And let's see how close it comes. So we should be able to see it on the GoPro here as well as it gets lower. So it's a little ways off. You know, I wonder if I had precision landing. I bet I didn't have precision landing turned on. So I'm going to stop that. So I stopped the drone I am going to go into the menu, FPV. You know what, this thing, it may not have precision landing. Back in that main menu, waypoint, compass, gyro, IMU. Searching for apron is on, yeah. Okay, so let's go out and try that again. I think we got enough battery to do it. So I did have that on. When I saw it coming down there, let me pick that camera back up and let's go straight out again. Hopefully we got enough. Yeah, we should have enough battery to do this. And I picked the camera up too far there. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to hit return to home on the controller this time. And takeoff point, let's see what it does. So it's going to go up to 40 meters again. And we're going to give it another shot at that RTH. Hey, and I noticed it stopped beeping, so that's a good thing. Gave us a few beeps to tell us it was in return to home and then stopped. Oh, there we go again though. Got another beep. And let's see, I think it dropped. I'm going to let it drop the camera on its own. I believe it does that on its own. And, you know, it's almost, it's right over the top of us now. So let's see if it once it reorients, if it drops that camera down. Searching for drone apron. Yeah, so it says it's on. Okay. Yeah, and it dropped the camera by itself. And it's, you know, it's a ways off. It's going to be kind of right in front of us here. Let's see how it does. Let's see if it, nah, it's not going to find it, is it? Okay, let's stop that. So I canceled that, and we'll just do a manual landing here. So I don't know what happened there with, but it sure didn't find the landing pad. So let's just bring it over. I'm going to put it into film mode so I get some nice slow controls here. And let me see if I can bring it over just a tad. Back the other way, forward just a little. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, and you can see it's kind of wandering around just a little bit as I'm trying to center it here. I'm just trying to see how accurate it can hover here. And what I wanted to do was just put it in landing mode, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I'm going to bring it down more. And then let's just, whoop, that's too far. Let's pull that stick right down now. Well, it moved off at the last second, so, and it gives us a stop recording. So it was this side of the pad, so that was me pushing the stick forward, and then it went further than I thought. So yeah, anyway. Okay, let me get everything shut down and we'll do a quick conclusion. Hey, okay, the Hubsan Mini SE. Man, I'm telling you, guys, I had a great flight with this guy today. I came away impressed with this little drone. To me, this is what that Zino Mini Pro should have been. This guy, I'm telling you, I'm thinking that this is the Hubsan Mini drone that you want. You know, we took it out, had a really long flight time with it. I didn't measure exactly, but had it up in the air in a long time. That battery lasted a long time. And in fact, it lasted so long that, you know, I did a big fly around, did a great big loop with the thing, and got it back and still had time to do a little Waypoint mission. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to do the conclusion here because I wanted to take a look at the video when I got home, and I thought it looked pretty good. Do I wish the video was just a tad bit sharper? I do. So the next time I go out and fly it, I'm going to turn up that sharpness a little bit on the adjustment and see how that looks. Now, as part of that, because it was a really gray day today when I was out there, really gray. Yeah, I mean, I think that also could play into what I was seeing on the video there. But, you know, a couple little things, if I'm going to do some nitpicking. When I first took off, I went over to the corner of the park and I had some blockiness on FPV. Whatever that was, it cleared out pretty quickly, and I flew it out a ways, and I had no more issues with that. So don't know what that was about. We had a couple of little incidences where I had a little blip on the gimbal. again, I don't know what that was, but it was very minor. No big deal. But yeah, I mean, the flight controls were good. It flew really well. We didn't miss our precision landing. Not sure what was going on there, why it didn't recognize that landing pad. But we did get the drone on the ground here. So anyway, it was a good flight. Sub 249 gram drone. We're going to do a lot more with this little guy. We're going to compare it with the DJI Mini 2, of course, both of them 4K drones. This guy has features. This is let me step back just a little bit. This is a full-featured mini drone. It has tracking. It has all the different intelligent flight modes. A lot of the things that people are looking for. Does not have obstacle avoidance. On a drone like this, I just don't know that that's a necessary thing. Again, plenty of flight time, good looking video. Pretty happy with my first flight with this guy. And we're going to fly this guy and test it a lot more in the coming weeks and months. So I guess that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I appreciate you taking the time to look at this video. And yeah, the little Hubsan Zino Mini SE, I'm liking this guy. All right, see you guys later. Bye.